Hello! Welcome to Give Pause Hobby. I'm Kyle as always. I'm not in the element as always. I'm in the woods. Because this week, we're covering the Woodland Alliance in our Asymmetric Exercises. So last week, there were lots of different mutes that I needed to demonstrate for you so you could hear how they sound. This week, there's no fancy tricks or anything like that I need to demonstrate, but there are two different things that the performer is going to need to consider. We're going back and forth between straight eighth notes, which are a varying degree of length for the different measures. So they're all in eighth note divisions. So we start off with 5/8, 9/8, 11/8, weird measure lengths that we're not used to playing in, and especially not in, segments of one measure each, and immediately switching to a different time signature. And then every so often we go into common time where we have swing eighth notes, kind of like a burst into a new key. So the straight eighth notes going higher and higher in each of the scales, to me represents the Woodland Alliance getting support of all the other denizens of the woods, trying to prove to them that their cause is right and getting them on their side so that they can eventually revolt and take it to the other factions. Now, this isn't always an easy trip forward. Sometimes there are setbacks. Sometimes they need to keep trying to get a certain woodland creature on their side. And that is represented in the music where it doesn't make progress. It just keeps going 3 notes up, 3 notes up, 4 notes up, 3 notes up. Sometimes they stay the same, sometimes they actually go backwards. And that's to me showing the Woodland Alliance having some struggle. But eventually we get to a moment with those swing eighth notes, and that's where they get to revolt. They put down a bass and suddenly the game is different. So the key is different. We start in a pretty easy key for trumpets, no flats or sharps, just kind of home base for us. We go into 3 flats, which is nothing weird, go into 4 sharps, but then the last one is 6 sharps, which we almost never actually play in. So the last one is definitely the hardest. And to me, that's showing, at that point, people have really gotten wise to the Woodland Alliance becoming a threat to the game state. And they're actually actively trying to do what they can to stop their plans. So when you're playing, you really do feel this as well. I know at least I did when I was recording it, that it's very easy when you go through these different keys to get taken by surprise when you get to those cut time swing eighth note measures that you're not ready for the new key signature, or even when you're playing in the same key signature, just having that one momentary lapse, that brain fart that sort of takes it all down. So it is definitely a balancing act, a tightrope walking act, but also it provides a great, not just training in, keeping your mind focused on the task at hand, but it gives you a great opportunity to work on the extremes of our dynamics, which honestly, I don't even think I got fully committed in my recording. I have pianos up to sforzando, so this sudden explosion of sound whenever we have the revolts, the bass is coming down, that's when we're suddenly playing way louder than we were before. In this case, they got to do it 4 different times of varying lengths in between. It's not like I waited until I finished the scale and then went on to a new key, because just like in actual Woodland Alliance in the game, they can be pretty surprising. So I thought the exercise deserves to be pretty surprising too. So that's through voice and violence, which I have to admit, as this project is going on, it's one of my favorite parts, coming up with the different names for these exercises, things that fit the factions just right. And the performance instructions underneath it are equally important, alternating between laser focus and wild abandon, which, again, if you really commit to it, that's a big difference. It's a big change going from piano kind of varying measure length eighth notes to sudden sforzando swung eighth notes as loud as you can play. So it does really give you something to work on, this range of dynamic and expression. So I hope you enjoy. So that was Through Voice and Violence. That was the Woodland Alliance. Stay tuned next week for whatever we have coming up next. I think I know what it's going to be, but you can't really ever force these things. Sometimes the music wants to come out in a different order, a different manner than you intended. So we'll see you at the same channel, but probably not the same space, and definitely with a different faction and different music. Have a great day.